as always, Rewrite gives us a lot to digest and dissect this week, and really, this was another fantastic episode that has a lot of hints and more or less confirms a lot of the theories that I've been saying for a little bit here, so let's get right into this. Honestly, the first thing I want to discuss is that scene with Kotaro with the ghost and Katori, because if you remember, I pretty much say that I'm pretty sure the main character at one point has died, and he was brought back by Katori. And this episode more or less confirms what I said. Now, it is possible that he didn't fully die and maybe he was just healed, but the thing is we see a little girl run and cry once Kotaro loses his arm and is bleeding to death. Now, the only person I would think would have just a specific healing ability would be Shizuru. I don't think we're gonna have two characters with the identical ability. So, that's why he probably bled out and almost died, if not he did die, and Katori actually brought him back to the dead in some way. I mean, it has a lot of possibilities of where it could go. There's different ways that you can bring the dead back to life. You know, you have zombies, you have just, normal, like your life has been brought back to you. You have servants, things like that. There is a lot of ways they could go with this. Though, if one thing's for certain, she definitely brought our MC back from the dead at one point in some way, when the opening pretty much tells us that. I mean, it was pretty easy to see after you look at that opening, but I think I'm 100% confident now in saying, yeah, he definitely came back from the dead. And once again, if people are still not cluing in anime onlys of her connection with this ghost, every time the ghost is present, she notices her. The only two people who notice this ghost is our MC and Katori. You see her face just kind of shocked when she realizes what Kotaro is looking at, and then she acts like nothing is weird. She knows she's there, she has a connection, and I think in some way, that's why I think she has a connection to the dead, because why else would she be able to see this, everyone who calls her a ghost? The only people who can see her, I would think, would be someone who has a connection to the dead, and also, why would Kotaro be able to see unless maybe he's dead himself, or has been brought back from the dead? That's why I believe that. But overall, that scene was just awesome, and I just loved how it just confirmed everything I was going for there, so I really enjoyed that. Now, there's a comment made by Akane near the end that she's all about destroying humans, and her look of just these menacing eyes just kind of gouging our MC. It's interesting, like, is she in the other organization, is she planning to destroy the key instead of saving the key? I think that's where that's going, and why, we're at the point of no return, and they think you have to destroy this key, you can't actually save it, which the key is still, I think, the ghost, I still think that is who the key is. I mean, it'd be interesting if the key was actually, our MC, but I think it is the ghost. I feel like we've been having such a focal point on this character. She's definitely the key, and, it's interesting, it seems that, Shizuru, as well as Lucia, and it seems like they're about protecting the key, but I feel like some of these other members in the club are about destroying it. So that's a little interesting for sure. But there's one thing that's really interesting that I think a lot of people are going to overlook. This dog that we saw in episode 1 when our MC was going after Katori to find her in the forest, we see that dog for a little bit. Now, it doesn't look like a dog, but based on everyone's interactions, everyone seems to be noticing the dog as a normal dog and not questioning it. Like it's just a normal dog with an insane amount of strength. But from our perspective, as well as the MC's perspective, it looks like this mammoth, like, weird beast. So I'm curious, either because our MC is special, but the thing is all these characters are special in their own way. They definitely all have powers or have a connection in all their own way. We don't know everyone's yet, but we know a good handful. So I don't think it can just be that, because our MC does have an ability that he can see like that, because why don't the rest of them unless they're faking it? But I'm questioning if maybe this animal or this beast, whatever it is, maybe it can alter its appearance, but the question still remains, why is it that everyone else sees it as a normal dog, but our MC doesn't? Maybe because he has the ability to rewrite his DNA, maybe he's rewrote his vision at one point, I'm not 100% certain, but I think it might go back to the fact that he has died at one point. And maybe the fact that he's been brought back as whatever he is, servant, zombie, whatever you want to call it. I don't think he's a zombie. I'm just giving multiple, examples of how he could have been brought back, because there's different fictions used, familiars, servants, vampires, zombies, whatever it may be. None of the other things, just give an example as there's many possibilities of how they could bring someone back. Now the thing is, is that the reason why he can see this dog as its natural form while others don't? Or is everyone else just pretending they see it as a normal dog? Because that's a possibility. I think that could be a very good possibility that, everyone who has these abilities could maybe see it for what it is, but maybe they're faking it. But still, at the same point, I think it might have the connection with actually because he has been brought back from the dead. That's where I see that going. But damn, was this a good episode. It was a lot of comedy, a lot of kind of simple, solving these cases, going from place to place, trying to figure out all these mysteries that hold, and nothing really out of the ordinary's happened. We got some really cool, gags in there. RMC's definitely got a mini harem growing, which is nice, but it's not just a harem, there is actually soul to these characters, so it's not just, a typical throw it off as being shit kind of a thing. But the thing that's interesting is they do get to go to one case that is legitimately frightening, with this lake just killing things that enter its water, brutally murdering it. And as soon as that started happening, I was like, we're gonna get a confirmation that RMC died here, aren't we? And then of course we do, so I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that one. But Ino ends up calling RMC saying that, hey, I'm gonna go investigate this stuff, and then 3 days later she never shows up. So I'm wondering if either in next week's episode or the weeks after, if Kodori is actually going to revive her as well if she did in fact die, or maybe maybe her ability relies on it have to being fresh, like a fresh kill or something like that, because I do believe that she can bring the dead back to life. I don't see any other way with all the clues we've gotten, but if I'm wrong, by all means I'll admit I'm wrong when it happens. But so far, I got a pretty decent average on kind of cluing in on things. I mean, in the early days, for sure, I did mess up, but I think I'm getting more on track with everything here. But overall, another great episode of Rewrite. I'm loving this series just as much. It doesn't get worse for me, only better. So let me know your thoughts and comments below. Do you love it? Did you hate it? What do you think on my theories, my predictions of everything, especially that Chibi Moth dog? Am I on the right track with saying that, only Kotaro can see him as his true form? And is it because possibly of his significance to dying at one point? Try to keep it a spoiler free, but if you want to say, yeah, you're on the right path, or maybe you want to focus over here, by all means do so, and be sure to hit that like button to show your support, and subscribe if you're new to my channel. So until next time, everyone, please take care, have a good one.